Story 1. The Forgotten Tenant. It was a damp October evening when Melissa moved into her new apartment, a weathered brick building nestled between towering sycamore trees. The landlord, Mr. Grayson, seemed reluctant when handing over the keys, warning her, keep the door to room 3B locked. It's best left alone. She thought he was superstitious or eccentric and dismissed his warning. The apartment was cozy, with vintage wood floors that creaked under her every step. On her first night, Melissa unpacked her belongings, excited for a fresh start. Yet, as she settled in, faint whispers began to fill the air, just barely audible, as if someone were murmuring in the next room. She checked room 3B, the forbidden room, and found the door locked tight. The whispers ceased when she walked away. Days turned into weeks, but the odd occurrences only intensified. At midnight, Melissa often saw fleeting shadows under the gap of room 3B's door. She convinced herself it was her mind playing tricks on her. However, when she placed a towel at the door's base to block the shadows, she woke up to find the towel shredded, claw marks etched into the wooden floor. One stormy evening, curiosity overwhelmed Melissa. Armed with a flashlight and a crowbar, she decided to open room 3B. The air grew icy as she approached, her flashlight flickering erratically. The door creaked open, revealing an untouched room filled with antique furniture. A broken mirror hung on the wall, reflecting an image that wasn't her own, a pale, hollow-eyed woman dressed in black. Melissa discovered a stack of yellowed letters on the desk. They were addressed to Eliza, the previous tenant who had lived there in the 1940s. The letters revealed a harrowing story of heartbreak and betrayal. Eliza had been left at the altar and, in her despair, ended her life in room 3B. Her ghost was trapped, seeking vengeance on anyone who dared disturb her sanctuary. Over the next few nights, Melissa's dreams were invaded by Eliza's sorrow. In one vivid nightmare, Eliza's spectral figure stood at the foot of her bed, whispering, "Why did you open the door?" Melissa woke up to find scratches on her arms, as if Eliza was punishing her for intruding. Desperate for help, she contacted a medium who advised her to perform a cleansing ritual. The cleansing ritual was anything but simple. As Melissa burned sage and recited incantations, the room erupted in chaos. Furniture flew, the walls wept with dark stains, and Eliza's ghost manifested fully, a terrifying figure with glowing eyes and outstretched claws. Melissa pleaded with Eliza, acknowledging her pain and promising to honor her memory. After hours of struggle, the room grew silent. Eliza's apparition faded, leaving behind a single tear-shaped crystal on the floor. Melissa placed the crystal on the desk in room 3B and sealed the door once more. From that day on, the whispers ceased, and Melissa finally found peace, knowing she had laid a restless soul to rest. Story 2. Echoes in the attic. The Kinsley family was eager to settle into their new home, a sprawling Victorian mansion with intricate woodwork and a picturesque attic. The previous owner, an elderly widow, had left behind a cryptic note in the mailbox. "Beware of the attic. It remembers." At first, the family ignored the note, chalking it up to the ramblings of an eccentric old woman. However, the attic drew the curiosity of their teenage daughter, Lila, who was enchanted by its antique charm. She spent hours exploring the dust-covered trunks, old photographs, and porcelain dolls with glassy eyes that seemed to watch her every move. Strange events began almost immediately. At night, faint footsteps echoed from above, even when no one was there. The family dog, Max, refused to enter the attic and would growl at the ceiling, his hackles raised. Lila dismissed it all as coincidence until the night she heard whispering, a faint, mournful hum of voices calling her name. Determined to uncover the mystery, Lila convinced her younger brother, Jonah, to join her in exploring the attic after dark. Armed with flashlights, they ventured up the creaky staircase. As they sifted through the clutter, Jonah discovered an old journal belonging to Margaret, a young girl who had lived in the house over a century ago. The journal spoke of her isolation, her strict parents, and her growing friendship with Emily, a mysterious girl who lived in the walls. The air grew colder as Lila read Margaret's chilling account of how Emily demanded she play increasingly dangerous games. The final entry ended abruptly. Emily says it's time. She promised I wouldn't be alone anymore. Before they could process what they had read, the attic door slammed shut, trapping them inside. The flashlight beams flickered as shadows danced along the walls. A child's giggle echoed through the room, followed by the sound of scuttling feet. When Jonah turned, he saw a figure, a pale girl with hollow eyes, standing in the corner, her hand outstretched as if beckoning him closer. Terrified, Lila screamed for help, but the attic absorbed the sound, muffling her cries. The ghostly figure advanced, her expression twisting into something malevolent. Desperate, Lila grabbed the journal and hurled it into the corner. The apparition hesitated, then dissolved into mist as the pages scattered across the floor. The attic door creaked open, and the siblings bolted downstairs. That night, Lila burned the journal in the fireplace. Though the attic fell silent, Lila swore she could still hear faint whispers in the house, as if Margaret and Emily's tragic story lingered, waiting for its next audience. Story 3. The Silent Passenger. It was a quiet Tuesday night when Adrian, an Uber driver in a small town, picked up an unusual ride request. The destination was an isolated stretch of highway, marked only by a single flickering street lamp. The app displayed no profile picture, and the passenger's name was simply listed as E. Adrian hesitated but accepted the ride, chalking it up to someone needing help in a remote area. When he arrived, he found a woman standing by the roadside, her face obscured by a dark hood. She got into the back seat without a word, and Adrian felt a chill run down his spine as the temperature in the car plummeted. He attempted to break the silence. "Rough night?" he asked, glancing at her through the rearview mirror. The woman didn't respond, but her reflection in the mirror seemed off. Her lips moved, but no sound came out, and her eyes appeared to be hollow, endless voids that Adrian drove. His unease grew. The GPS malfunctioned, directing him down an unfamiliar, unlit road. Trees loomed on either side, their branches twisting like skeletal hands. The woman in the back seat began to hum a haunting tune, her voice echoing unnaturally in the confined space. When Adrian glanced in the mirror again, the woman was gone, yet the humming persisted. Panicked, he slammed on the brakes, but the car wouldn't stop. It sped down the dark road, as if controlled by an unseen force. Desperation set in as the dashboard lights flickered, and the radio crackled to life with distorted voices whispering his name. Suddenly, the car screeched to a halt in front of an abandoned motel. The woman reappeared in the back seat, her face now fully visible, a grotesque blend of decay and malice. She leaned forward, her breath icy against Adrian's neck, and whispered, "This is where it ends."